Be interested to see how this second half is going to play.
Me too.
The 4-1 Tigers are averaging 41 points per game. They only lead 13-3, well below their average. 5 seconds remaining before we kick this game off, the second half anyway. 13-3 your score, Cocoa over Seabreeze. We'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to Municipal Stadium, Larry Kelly Field. That's Javier Sylvester on the big return for the Sand Crabs as they start the second half with great field position. They'll start up 1st and 10 at the Cocoa 45. 11:52 to go. That was the first play of the second half. Quarterbacking for Seabreeze is Scott Summers. Sylvester in the speed sweep motion. Summers is going to keep the ball. It's going to take it across the 45 and down to the 43, where it'll be second down for Seabreeze.
Great start for the Sand Crabs.
Sure is. They needed that boost of that kickoff return.
Games like this, sometimes if you can drag that favorite team into the deep water, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, he got it figured out that time.
Yeah, that kid that's going to Florida stepped right up and made the tackle, set the edge, made the tackle.
Yes, sir, Chauncey Gardner. 2 interceptions on the year, 190 pounds. Great play right there on the edge. Brings up a 3rd and a bunch here for the Crabs. Still, I believe the Crabs have only attempted 2 passes. Is that correct?
It's about right.
Muller in a quarterback rolls to his left. Intended receiver is Rashad Floyd, or maybe the intended receiver was number 5, who is not Jeremiah.
Yeah, Scott Summers, I think, needed to help him out on that rollout pass there. I think he needed to help him set that edge. They never got it set, and quarterback ate a mouthful there on that rollout pass. Just didn't have quite the time he needed for that route to develop, the deep comeback route. Didn't have time for it to develop.
Too. The quarterback seems to be a little banged up with his left arm.
Hayworth into punt for the Sand Crabs. Another high punt, wobbly. It's going to bounce and take a punter's roll. If anybody's here to stop it, no, sir. That's going to go right into the end zone.
Big mental mistake there by the Sand Crabs. As you mentioned earlier in the season, Billy, we got to coach those guys to run down to the goal line and turn around.
Well, I'm not sure where those guys were running. I mean, they were running to the receiver, or the return man, rather, as opposed to just having somebody sprint down there. So that would have been a great opportunity for the Sand Crabs.
Absolutely, to flip the field completely. But, you know, they've got them here on the 20 here. Let's see what Cocoa, how they're deciding to play their second half, if they made any major adjustments, and how they plan on attacking the Seabreeze defense, who's played very scrappy.
Here's that undefended flat down here to the left side.
Yes, it is, Coach.
Judson gives the ball to Weaver. He's going to pick up 2 yards on the play, 2nd down and 8. Coach Yoakum, you had a chance to visit here on this alumni type of weekend with a former player and some good friends of yours. It's always nice to be back here, isn't it?
It's always great to be back in Sand Crab Town with a lot of familiar faces and some people who had to tell me who they are. They've gotten older. I'm glad I have not.
Flags on the play. Shocker, but you know what? I can't say shocker. That's probably only the 4th penalty of the night.
Not very many. That must have been an obvious one.
And let's not jinx that. Let's keep that just where it's at. We've got the A1 officials right where we want them.
Ball's going to go against Cocoa. It'll be 2nd down in about 14 yards.
I'm impressed with Cocoa athletically. I'm not sure this is the best Cocoa team that I have seen.
No, it is not.
Judson's got nothing but green grass in front of him.
Wow.
Or turf, for that matter, as he's going to run himself out of bounds. He'll cross the 50 and go out of bounds at the Seabreeze 45-yard line.
You've got to do such a good job to cover up in the back when they've got such good athletes, and you get that quarterback off the line of scrimmage. And, you know, we saw last night, you need to be disciplined in your rush lanes, and not only the first level to contain, but your second level to contain. Chains move, and Cocoa is on the move. Yeah.
Flags on the play before we even get going. It's going to go against Cocoa. Lord have mercy. 13-3 your score. Cocoa over the Sand Crabs. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, Rocky Yoakum.
A muggy night tonight, Coach Gahagan.
What are you talking about, man? I'm not sweating.
You didn't notice.
Lord, Lord, Lord. 1st and 15 for the Tigers from the 50-yard line. Weaver on the carry.
Horse. Oh,
flag on the play. Here we go. See what you did? That was all you, Coach Allen.
Hey.
Glad you mentioned it.
Hey, I didn't bring it up. You brought it up that the A1 officials, they introduced themselves to the visiting coaches.
All 3 second half flags have gone against Cocoa. Hey, so speaking of second halves, go back to last night for a second here, gentlemen. We said that the Buccaneers hadn't given up a point in the second half all year, and I guess technically speaking,
they still have
the streak is intact.
You're right. You're right. They didn't score against their defense, and that's very impressive no matter how you slice it. But the opportunities were there for the Oviedo Lions. They were there in this zoo week, as Coach Yoakum referred to it.
Coach Yoakum, do you remember much of last night?
I remember all of last night.
How would you have changed the game plan if you were Oviedo?
That's a very good question, Coach. I don't know. I don't know that the plan was all that bad. Execution of it probably not quite as good, but Mainland had an awful lot to do with that. It's just hard to move the ball and score very many points against Mainland. You've got to force some turnovers. You've got to make a play in the kicking game. You've got to do those things.
Kevin Trotman was the intended receiver. Had he come up with that, that would have been our second ESPN catch in as many games. But Coach Allen, going back to the Mainland game from last night, they got dealt a pretty serious blow with some injuries. Yeah,
and we're yet to see the severity of all those injuries. But if Kalo Hanna is down and Dotson is down and Gillard is down, then those are big names for them and guys that they were going to rely on and counting on to give them the chance that they thought that they really have, which is to win the state championship.
Judson under pressure. He's going to throw the ball out of bounds. Sources close to the situation at Mainland tell me one of them is not as severe as anticipated. The other one, they're still waiting on MRIs, and the other one has an AC joint injury. So that's going to be a few weeks, especially when you're a tackler.
Either way, they're not going to be ready to go immediately, and there's going to be some time out for both of them. And some of those other, Bryant is going to have to step up, and some other guys are just got to step up for them. And, they're a team loaded with athletes. There should be somebody there, maybe not from an experiential standpoint, but, from an athletic standpoint, they've got the people to put there. I'm sure Coach Wilson and his staff, they'll get it worked out.
Coach Yoakum, it's still early in the season. They improved to 6-0, 7-0. They have to play Seabreeze still. They have, I think, one more district game left, and then they end the year at Central or Fort Pierce. They end the year at Fort Pierce. How do you feel their chances are of going undefeated?
I think they're pretty good. I think that they could easily win these last 3 football games. And Coach Allen's right. They've lost some key players, but I'm not sure we'll notice or miss their absence until the playoffs begin.
4th down for the Tigers.
Flag.
A flag on the play. Coach Allen with the kiss of death. This has now extended our second half into tomorrow.
The love is extended to the east end of the announcing box.
That's a good thing, because I'm on the west end. Oh, but nobody's keeping tallies over there.
No
I make a mistake, and we keep tallies.
I'm not sure that was a mistake. It was more of just a mention of something that has become evident. I think we've got to put that one on the A1 officials. I'm not ready to tote that responsibility, Coach Gahagan.
Okay. You guys realize what's going on.
We do. Deflection. We've been there. We see it.
And being the youngest coach of the 3, way youngest.
You don't have to rub it in.
That was
whatever you guys got.
That was a chop block, Coach Yoakum. That right there, he hit us high and low at the same time.
The Cocoa punt is down just outside of the 30 at the 31. 7:04 remaining in the third quarter. 13-3, Cocoa leading Seabreeze. We'll be right back.
I will mention it.
Welcome back, 13-3, Cocoa leading Seabreeze. Summers in a quarterback. He's under pressure, and he's going to get thrown down immediately.
I love the concept, though, Coach. They have a little screen set up off a play that they've run very successfully, their jet sweep, and Coco kind of sniffed it out. The pressure's basically what killed the play, but it was well conceived. You play athletes, though, sometimes the best conceived plays just don't it doesn't matter. It just doesn't trump the talent or the speed.
Muller coming in to be the quarterback for this set. Coach Spurrier Beach working with the rotating quarterback. Second down and very long for Seabreeze.
Speaking of Coach Spurrier, what about a gentleman who stood the test of time, gone in his new lifetime in South Carolina and done a great job there, huh?
He's a fine football coach.
Great
Muller's
throw.
Pass intended for Rashad Floyd. That's caught at the 25. Takes up to the 26-yard line. First completion of the night.
Very well may be.
It's a good throw. Good throw. First receiver in double figures for the Sand Crabs now this season. Would that be right, Coach Oakham? Did you mention he only had 9 receptions?
That's correct.
Wow.
Seabreeze teams of the past, they've had receivers have 9 in the first game.
Correct.
And there have been some receivers come through these here parts. Coach Oakham, you had Mick Crow. He went to Kentucky. You've had
Sean Beckton, who was at one point the all-time leading receiver at UCF.
Muller's deep ball intended for Floyd, thrown out of bounds.
Great job right there. Good job on just a transition. He was in a man transition. He turned it into his own transition. Looks like number 22 there, maybe Javon Spencer.
You had a pretty good quarterback convert to a receiver and went to Ole Miss, Andre Roan. He did all right.
He did all right. Yes, he did.
There has definitely not been a shortage of athletes to come through Seabreeze High School.
Wow.
That's a punt, boys.
Hayworth just continues to impress. I'm going to tell you right now.
Somebody needs to get there and down that ball.
That's 2 times on a ball in the air that a Coco athlete has just fallen down, on his own, and uncharacteristic of the athletes that we're used to seeing at Coco.
It's about a 55-yard punt there.
Longer than that there, Coacher. It's that almost touched the stadium record held by one of your favorite guys, but that was a 68-yard punt, Coach.
How hard was the wind blowing that night, Coach Cahagan?
There it is. I don't know.
Coming back to the west, brother. From the east to the west, it comes. The wind blows both ways.
I don't know. All I know was that ball took off.
It took off. I like that. Oh.
Hey, I'll defend myself. You don't say a word, Coach Oakham. I got it.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Oh.
So Sam Hayworth punted that ball from the 27-yard line. It was down to the 5. That's a 68-yard punt.
And the record is held by Coach Cahagan, I'm sure, with the.
No, it's broken.
And how long was that punt, Coach Cahagan?
The record stood for many years at 70, and then Mr. Linkenheimer went 71. Shouldn't count because he's not even from the area. I grew up here. And now Sam Hayworth, 68. This stadium has seen quite a few big punts.
Let me tell you something. The best punter that I've coached in this area
Thank you.
is.
Thank you very much.
No, I didn't coach you. It's Ryan Rodwell, who's currently at Georgia Tech at D-Land.
I bet he'll never run the football again.
No, sir.
Fake punt last week. Georgia Tech and Miami. Did you see that, Coach?
No, I did not.
That is not his strong suit. You can bet on that. I used to give Rodwell a hard time. He looked like a 42-year-old man when he was a senior in high school.
Was it a called fake punt?
It was a called fake punt against the Miami Hurricanes.
A team with no speed.
He got picked up and body slammed.
After he made the first down?
Yes, sir. By many yards.
And the Ramblin' Wreck still undefeated, I believe, right? Coach Johnson got him going up there.
Love to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
Weaver up the middle, bouncing off tacklers. Takes the ball up, to the 27-yard line. It'll be first down for Cocoa.
A little more direct approach, Coach. They're just coming right at him. I'll go out on a limb, and I would say that the Mainland team is 3 touchdowns better than this Cocoa team.
I was thinking about that on the way to the stadium. I wonder if what that outcome would be if these guys were waiting. You still think 3 touchdowns?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think they have enough diversity right now. But they still have Mr. Judson, and he can go.
Flag on the play.
Of course.
Coach Oakham, what do you tell your team if you're the head coach of this Seabreeze team at the end of this game?
At the end of it, at halftime, I would tell them that all great games are won in the second half, as you well know. And at the end of the ball game, if the score remained the same, I would tell them our goal when we started this season was to advance into the state playoffs, and those goals are still attainable.
But again, it just makes that much bigger of a game next week with the Deltona game.
Absolutely. Deltona game next week will be huge.
That game will be played here at the stadium. Deltona against Seabreeze High School. The 3 of us will bring you that game, a big game.
And had you asked us 6 weeks ago, we would say that the New Smyrna Seabreeze game would have had that kind of impact on the district standings. And as it's turned out, Deltona is in the mix.
Meanwhile, New Smyrna Beach is soul searching. They're still winners.
Certainly open this week, and Coach Jenkins does a good job there, and he's got some fine athletes. I have not seen them play. I can't speculate as to what. I know they've played a tough schedule, but I would like to see the Barracudas.
3:14 and counting here in the third quarter. Judson to Weaver. No flags on the play. He gets up to the original line of scrimmage. It's third down.
Not sure if it's good or bad that you have to note that there were no flags on the play, but
it helps.
It does help. We're going to play 3 quarters in the time it took to play a half in the Mainland American Heritage contest.
Gaston's going to keep it himself, make a move at midfield. Shake off a couple tacklers. R.J. Stokes on the stop for the Sandcrabs.
I'm willing to bet that Coach Wilkinson may have spoken to Brother Judson at halftime and maybe
challenged him,
implored him to pick up his game a little bit, and he has certainly done so here on this drive.
Coach Coach Yoakum, obviously. I'm going to talk about your cousin there, Coach Kramer.
All right.
On the field, huh?
Let's do that.
On the field.
Yes.
Not since Oklahoma?
Well, when I was the head coach and he was my assistant, I used to make him stay down on the field when I went upstairs. And sometimes he would say, Coach, the wheels are falling off out here. And I'd get on the elevator and come on down. And I think he's facing a similar situation this year.
Judson with time, he's going to get pressured. That's Will Roth. Matt Roth is his dad. Will Roth on the quarterback sack. It's the first we've heard of Will tonight.
Yeah, he beat Raquan Smith there, and he just got around the edge and just kept coming. That took a little while there. They had a stop route open on the bottom side, but it looked like a one-man route. I don't think he ever looked any place other than where he wanted to go, down the hash.
Second down and 16 for Cocoa, still on the Seabreeze side of the 50.
This Cocoa team, coach does not make me believe that they have a deep run in them, just for what we've seen tonight. not having seen Washington or Clewiston or Glade Central or any of those other, bunches that are in it. But, they've played a really tough Raines team who I have seen in person, and I can tell you Raines is very much for real. Their athletes are everything that, that we've seen out of any of the squads that we've seen, American Heritage, Mainland, and Cocoa. And that was a good win for them. And I really think that they were fortunate in that 37-28 to have that football game at home. I don't think they would have liked to have traveled all the way to Jacksonville.
Third down 14, for the Tigers. Judson's going to keep it. Get back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up fourth down for the Tigers, Coach Oakham.
That should end the fourth quarter, or the third quarter.
And it does. The third quarter comes to a close, 13-3. Cocoa still leads Seabreeze High School. Welcome back to Municipal Stadium. Larry Kelly Field, Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum. Start of the fourth quarter. Cocoa leading Seabreeze by a score of 13-3. All of the scoring thus far has come in the first half. Fourth down and 11. I think that's almost impossible to have a delay of game call when we just started. We just flipped the field.
Two things I'd like to say about that. A1.
It'll be fourth down and 15 for Cocoa from the Seabreeze 40-yard line.
Wow.
Judson's going to roll to his left. He's probably going to keep it. He is. He's going to stumble his way down to the 30-yard line, the 31. It's going to be a turnover on downs. Coach Oakham, big stop, momentum building possibly?
We would hope so. We would like to see the Sand Crabs. They need one good big play, score a touchdown, make this a 3-point ball game, and then I think we'd see everybody get a little bit more excited.
Do you think that's what's missing, the excitement? What do you think's going on here?
Well, it just doesn't appear to me to be a lot of enthusiasm. And as Coach Allen said, only winning one football game will have a tendency to do that to you. But somebody's got to find a way. Some of those seniors have got to step up and play over their head maybe a little bit and make a play.
Well, junior Justin Muller is back under center, or in the shotgun set anyway, for the Sand Crabs, 1st and 10. Muller, his pass is batted down immediately. That's Chauncey Gardner.
What an athletic play by Chauncey Gardner.
Chauncey's listed as the strong safety, but tonight he's playing defensive end. He is right up on the line of scrimmage and trying to stop the speed sweep. And that time he knocked down the wide screen, just getting after it.
Came pretty close to picking it off.
I was going to say, he's probably going to go home, watch this, and go, man, instead of the bat down. Second down for the Sandcrabs. First possession of the fourth quarter.
You know,
Justin Muller.
We've only seen one attempted screen, which is just a standard in the Seabreeze offense.
Sylvester on the carry and Marquise Lewis on the stop.
Puts the wood on him. Well, man, I can tell you there's no place I'd rather be on a Friday night. Not on somebody's sideline. It would be up here with you guys.
Aw, stop it.
Wasn't that sweet? Feel the love flowing from the east to the west.
From the east to the west. Meanwhile, France over here.
I shall remain neutral. I'll be
France
Switzerland.
Watch yourself.
Boy.
That had a bad look from the jump. And there's our man, number 3, Chauncey Gardner, coming off the edge and making a huge play and putting Seabreeze way behind the chains.
Go ahead, Coach. Give it to us. It's fourth and what?
A bus ride, Coach Kramer would say.
I bet if we were in Coach Kramer's headset right now, those are probably not the words that are coming out. One thing I like about Coach Kramer is he's not excitable.
No, he doesn't get worked up at all.
He interjected himself into our first broadcast, Coach Yoakum, and he was through the window and beside us. Oh, going to turn out okay.
Hayworth's punt bounces at the 50 and will be down at about the 47-yard line. Cocoa will have their first possession of the fourth quarter. 10 whole minutes remaining in this contest. Cocoa leading Seabreeze by a score of 13-3 in this non-district matchup.
I think Coco's probably thinking if we could take this one down and score, that'd put the lights out for Seabreeze, and I think they might be right about that.
Well, like we talked about in the pregame, this is Coco's last tune-up before a 3-game stretch of district games, and then they end the year at Rockledge. Seabreeze, on the other hand, has their final district game of the season coming up against Deltona. I lied, and then they play Pine Ridge and Mainland. So, good thing I knew what I was talking about there. I got it.
I think there are 3 legitimate wins left potentially on Seabreeze's schedule. They have Pine Ridge, they have Nice, and Deltona.
Nice down this year?
Down a little bit, yeah. They're not. They've been down for a while. Actually, they've Shane Matthews out, and they have a new coach. And the opening of Bartram Trail, Creekside, and Ponte Vedra has taken a lot of the oomph, so to speak, out of Nice's drawing area.
Second down for the Tigers. Judson's going to go deep. Has a receiver. Tightly covered. It doesn't matter. There'll be a flag on the play. Jamel Dean with the reception.
If you're going to get the penalty, just go ahead and undress him.
That's right.
Just undress him. He just kind of rode in there and let the receiver just continue to have inside position. And Cocoa does not look like they're very intricate with their pass game. They're looking to one guy. And don't get me wrong. Now, if I had Jamel Dean, I'd be looking for him a lot too. Just simple post route.
Rashad Floyd checks in on the defensive side of the ball for the Sandcrabs. Clock continues to roll here in the fourth quarter. Cocoa is now at the Seabreeze 15, 1st and 10.
Coach Gahagan, has Seabreeze ever been 1-5 under Coach Beach?
1-5, I don't believe so, but they had 2 wins in 1 year, and then they still made it to the state playoffs. And it's just been, it's difficult to think about think about the districts that they've been in. They've been in a Merritt Island Rockledge district. We did that for 2 years, obviously. Now this district. They've been in this district for a while.
They were with us in Fleming Island in a district.
That one was just bad. That was just
Fleming Island was a good team. Coach Webb came there, and he really turned that into something special, and they've kind of maintained that momentum that he built there. That's an easy touchdown right there.
That's Weaver on the carry. That's Weaver.
No, he
is.
Or
the touchdown.
They signaled touchdown.
It looked from here like he is in the end zone.
They signaled touchdown last night as well.
Yes, they did, and then they changed their minds.
Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
So that is a Cocoa touchdown.
And the kickers come right on out with the rest of the team.
They're
going to show the muddle huddle. They must have been scouting last night. Saw Mainland do this.
Or perhaps they figured it couldn't get any worse than what they did on the last extra point attempt, because that was not a pretty operation.
You knew that was coming. Nope. 2-point conversion, no good. 8:10 remaining in the final quarter. And in the game, 19-3, Cocoa leading Seabreeze. Welcome back. 19-3 your score. Cocoa leading Seabreeze. Kickoff is fielded at the 13-yard line. And down finally at the 21. 8:05 remaining in the contest. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum. Looking to see who will be the quarterback for this series for the Sand Crabs. Trailing by 16, and as Coach Yoakum alluded to during the break, two-score game. So it's still anybody's ball game.
It is anybody's ball game, but it's probably Coco's.
Muller in at quarterback.
Oh, hello.
Scott Summers on the carry.
Natural sound on the east.
I noticed.
I don't think the Sand Crabs can be too disappointed with their performance tonight. I think their kids are playing hard, but Coach, you alluded to it at our break that they just need to find some spirit. You know, they're just doesn't seem to be a lot of life, and I know it's hard when you're down and you've been down and you've lost some ball games. But you know what? I always used to tell my teams that the next bunch, they don't care. The next bunch you're going to play, they're glad. If you want to be down, they're glad if you're going to make it easy on them. You got to go compete every play, every quarter, every half, every game. Especially if you're a place that, where, let's just face it, you set the bar at this school that everybody who ever coaches there is going to be there in the future is going to be measured against, and built a program. And when you've beaten on some people over a period of time, you're a feather in their cap.
Absolutely.
They moved, left tackle moved. They didn't call it.
That's a surprise. Oh, my goodness, shark bite almost got loose.
There was definitely a flinch here.
First down reception by Rashad Floyd. It'll be 1st and 10.
Whose body language is not telling me that I want to get him the ball a whole lot. No. I just got to say that. It's pretty obvious. You made the point up here, Coach, and I've watched since, and just doesn't have the look of somebody who's just saying, give it to me and I'll make something happen. Same situation with number 3 there, Chauncey Gardner, almost knocking that down and almost picking it off again.
Muller's pass was intended for Anthony Blake.
I'd like to see him come back to that speed sweep again, see if they could pop something loose there.
How about the speed sweep pass, Coach? Speed sweep and let him throw the ball to fake the block on the outside and just go on by.
We saw that last night.
We did in a well, I won't say classless move, but
2nd down and 10 for the Sandcrafts.
I think I just did.
Summers on the carry. He's met quickly by Marquise Lewis. Yes, I cut you off. You're absolutely correct.
Natural. Natural was requested.
I won't cut off Coach Oakham if he has anything to say.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, I've been lulled to sleep by the Sandcrafts.
More natural sound coming.
That's natural snoring
coming
from the Dean of Coaches. 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. Cocoa 13, Seabreeze 3. 3rd down and 12. Muller. Feeling the pressure. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Marcus Bullard was the intended receiver. And it'll bring up another punting situation for the Sandcrafts.
Sam Hayworth's going to get another opportunity.
All right, Sam will punt the ball, and then we'll have a water break. That'll be my prediction.
Okay. High punt that will go out of bounds. Just waiting for the signal from the officials to call a water break. Like you've done this before. 13-3, your score. Cocoa leading Seabreeze. We'll be back. .549 remaining in the contest. 19-3. Cocoa leads Seabreeze. That's Justin Weaver on the carry. He's going to cross the 50, take it down to the 49. 1st and 10 Tigers.
Every time they've been in that set, they've run left. I don't fault them at all running behind big Juwan Taylor, and that's on the right side, and they come back over to Raquan Smith, who's not nearly as big as Taylor, but he's not a small young man. Coach, I'd take number 3 and I'd run him across the safety's face, run number 1 deep, and run number 2 on a skinny post and score a touchdown is what I would call there.
I'd hand it to number 23 and let him run off right tackle and run that clock.
And let the clock keep going. I knew where you were going with that one.
Now, that might not be the best thing for the football team.
But it's an announcer's dream.
It is an announcer's dream.
Sew those flags in A1 officials' pockets. And
we got to be careful, guys. We have a streak, the 3 of us. Our streak is on the line.
And our streak is what? What streak? Which particular
Do
streak
tell.
are you referencing?
The streak, our winning streak. It's on the line. It's never over until the clock reads 000.
Nope.
Judson. Across the 40 down to about the 36.
Seabreeze substituting 2 defensive linemen.
4:30 and counting in the contest. 1st and 10, Coco on the Seabreeze 36-yard line. We'd like to thank our internet technician, Charlie Williams, cameraman, Arden Gregory, our CEO, Dan Discoli. Those 3 men making it possible for this game.
Run left.
Weaver up the gut. Gain about 2 yards.
And the clock ticks. 3:54 and counting.
Coco certainly seems to be in no hurry.
Coach Saunier appears to be making a little adjustment here. See what the Tigers have on 2nd down and long.
Shoestring tackle by was it number 11 or was it number 40 on the tackle?
Yes.
Number 40.
Number 40. Got his feet right out from under him, saved the 1st down, picked up, we got about a 3rd and 3 here, 3rd and 4.
No moral victories in football, but you'd like to think if the Sandcrabs could keep them out of the end zone here and keep this to a 19-3 game, I think it'd be a little more indicative of how it was played. It will look different in the paper tomorrow if it, were to be 26-27, whatever. But Crabs have stayed in here, hung in, and scrapped, and playing it to the end.
Fourth down and 2 for the Tigers. 2:25 remaining.
I'm calling for Mark Mosley.
No way.
No chance.
Quarterback keeping to the left. Now maybe to the right.
Quarterback boot.
Trying to draw him offside with the hard count. Didn't get her done. Called the timeout.
Had one to use, not a bad play. Coach Cahagan, do you have any updates on the Father Lopez game?
They're still playing.
That information was free.
The next one we are going to pay for.
I know you're pulling for your alma mater.
Yeah, that'd be great if you get one. Okay. That score will come from our CEO, another team that is getting their film work done by Double D. I was talking to somebody, Coach Yoakum, just the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but we were talking about how, I think I was talking to Double D. He has a way to find some of the old film, literally film, because the reel-to-reel.
Right.
The cowboy clicker.
Right.
I think we need to pull up some of that footage. I think he's got some old Seabreeze footage.
I have.
Reel-to-reel.
I took all of my old reel-to-reels, and I have one of the best defensive highlight films you've ever seen in your life. It's on a disc now.
Okay.
They converted it, but I had no idea how physical those kids were back in the early 80s, but my goodness, they were mean.
So you took all of your defensive highlights and made them into one over all your years? Or you
Probably not all the years, but many of the years.
But you combined your seasons. You didn't just go season by season.
Right.
Wow.
I just cut. Back when I made highlights, you took a pair of scissors and you cut up 16 millimeter film, and then you took Scotch tape and you taped them together. And today you punch a button and you edit these things out. And I listened to some of the younger coaches talk about how much time they spent making a highlight film, and I'm thinking you have no idea, fellas. But actually, Mike McAuliffe took my defensive highlight film, and for my birthday a few years ago, he put it on a disc, and it's obviously all old black and white, but it is fun to watch John Parks break people in two.
Turnover on down. Seabreeze will get the ball for what will probably be the final possession of the game. Muller under pressure, looks to dump it off. That's Scott Summers. But, back to you, Coach Oven, you didn't have very many good defensive players back then.
We had so many good defensive players. We gave up 9 points a game for 9 years. And that was, when I came here, I was a defensive coordinator, and I remember telling the kids at Seabreeze who hadn't won a game in 2 years that my goal was to lead Central Florida in defensive scoring. And we did that for a long time.
Coach, I imagine you probably led Central Florida in a lot of other categories, too.
Silly decisions by the coach being one.
Well played. Okay, we got a bubble screen.
Muller, near side. Rashad Floyd on the reception.
They haven't thrown very many passes tonight, but I don't believe they're even at their average of 30% completion.
That might be only the fourth or fifth completion total.
Oh, I don't think they've completed 5. No.
No, sir.
Muller under pressure, just gets rid of the ball. Intended receiver was Scott Summers. He was forced to make that throw quickly. And that'll stop the clock.
And I think we get a glimpse of Coach Beach's game plan. You've got a bunch that you can't protect against. You can't put your quarterback off the line of scrimmage and throw the ball around. You'll just, you're setting him up to be hurt. And only bad things happen when he's throwing the ball, perhaps to the other team. It's just, I think they had a good plan tonight, and I think the kids have played very tough.
Hayworth in to punt it away. Probably going to fake that and ran with it. Punt will bounce at the 36 and come backwards. Update from the Father Lopez Mount Verde game, 21-7. Mount Verde over. Still going, 21-7. Mount Verde leading Coach Anthony Campanella's alma mater.
Where is Mount Verde located?
Lake County.
Lake County, that highly populated area to our west. I've been lost in Lake County, if you could believe that. It was late at night.
I've been lost in my house. Late at night, too, coincidentally.
All right, guys, well, there's a minute 1 to go. Coco is going into the victory set.
And there we go. That's called a class act right there.
Class act.
And you know it's coming, and that's so nice.
It is nice. Two guys got a lot of respect for each other, and Coach Wilkerson and Coach Beach, and that's the way it should be in our profession.
Yeah, Coach could have been disappointed. We were averaging 40 points a game. We haven't got it. We only got 19. Let's go try to score another one. But statistics don't really matter to him except wins and losses.
Well, and that's the difference in the coaches that really know what's going on. You're not out here for statistics. You're not out here to break records or do those types of things. It's good when you got kids in any situation where you can, but that's not what this thing's about. And the lessons that his kids learn from it, I think, are invaluable.
Coach Allen, coming into the game, we talked about the Cocoa Tigers having quite a few players that are going to be headed to college, and you were impressed by them, but you just don't think that they have the depth to go too far into the playoffs.
I don't know if it's a depth thing. I'm not sure they're just the it factor, the pop, the explosiveness, the diversity. I'm not sure they've got enough of that to beat the teams that they're going to have to beat the run deep.
I don't think they do. I think their back is a good back, but he doesn't have that breakaway, get it. I watched him run a couple times inside, and where last night if we'd have seen Killens running the football, he'd have taken a step outside and gone for 30 instead of 5.
Correct.
And I agree. I don't see the explosiveness of them, and it's hard to tell how good their defense is tonight. It was good enough.
I'm sorry. With the win, the Tigers improved to 5-1. Coach Yoakum. Flip side, Sandcrabs now fall to 1-5. You just didn't feel as if there was a lot of emotion. How do you get that to change?
Well, you've just got to impress upon the kids I'm assuming they sat down and set some goals at the beginning of the year, and the number one goal had to be to reach the state playoffs, and that's still a possibility for them. So it's I think we'll see an excited football team next week. I really do. I think we'll see a change. I think they kind of knew what was going to happen to them tonight, and maybe if they'd realized they had a better chance, they might have made it a little close football game. But there's always another game, and we'll look forward to seeing them next Friday.
Next week, the Tigers play Space Coast at home. That's the first of 3 district games in a row. The Sandcrabs will be at this stadium against Deltona in what we consider a huge district game for both teams. Playoff lives are on the line for both teams.
Yes, they are. And like I said, I just have all the confidence in the world that we'll see a more excited and aggressive football team from the Sandcrabs next week.
We will have that. I'm sorry, Coach.
I like the matchup. I really do. I think it's going to be a good ball game. There's something on the line. There's something at stake. Tends to raise the level of play. And I think, like you said, I think the Sandcrabs will come ready to play, Coach.
They're going to come ready to play, but Deltona is probably saying to themselves, we got nothing to lose. Nobody expects us to even be here. I would hate to see them come into this game a little bit more excited than Seabreeze and end up roles reverse, and all of a sudden Deltona's looking at, oh my God, we have a chance to be the runner-up.
Well, that's true. I mean, Deltona has not. It's been a long time since they've had that even as a remote possibility. So they'll be pumped up and excited to go. But I just think Sandcrabs are going to get her done.
I would agree.
We're going to have that game for you next week. It's the Deltona Wolves coming to play the Seabreeze Sandcrabs. For Steve Allen and Rocky Yoakum, I'm Billy Gahagan. Your final score tonight, Cocoa 19, Seabreeze 3. See you next week.
That's a wrap.